Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Throwback Tuesday. It's that time of the month, you guys, when we bring back something from the archives. And now it's something that's inspired by the archives and been reworked a little bit, but still from way, way, way back when. So some of these things are, from catalogs that are from the early 90s. And this one today is also from an early catalog. So this one is from the 97 catalog. And I did a variation of this back in May. And you guys loved it so much that I thought I would just do another variation of it and do a fall version. So that's what we're going to do today. It's so cute, you guys. I hope you love it as much as I do. These throwbacks are just so fun for me because they just take me way back, way, way back to my old drawing table and my old lighted desk and what I was thinking of at the time and what the trends were. We're going on our let's see, is this our 37th year? I mean, it's just crazy. So thankful to still be here. Okay, I see my people coming on. Cherie is on. Linda, hello. Licia, hello. Roberta, hey, good to see you. Roberta, glad to see your creation today, Bonnie. You know what? I'm so glad to show it to you, you guys. I happen to be I know I've told you guys this before, I'm a really impatient person. And when I finish something, I want to immediately get on and show it to you guys. So, we have to go through the whole process of the whole creation of it and get it made, get it packaged, all of those steps. But I just want to draw it and then I want to show it to you. So I've had to wait a few weeks before the big reveal, but it also makes it really fun when I do finally get to show you guys. So let me see who else is on here, you guys. Marianne, hello. Elaine, hello. Elaine with your broken foot. What? What in the world happened? Elaine is from Oregon, just down the road from us, about a half hour. Oh my goodness, Elaine. We'll have to hear that. You'll have to just comment again and tell us what happened. Mary says, had to tune in when I saw the picture. Oh, good. You guys, there's something about fall. The colors and, the oranges and then the little fall creatures. I always think of squirrels, and there's squirrels in this project. And I just think they're so cute, gathering up all their nuts for the winter. And I just think that, just those colors of fall are just so much fun to do. Even though it's the introduction into winter and then we're going into winter. It's still so cool. Carol is on. Hello, Carol. Hello, Lori. You guys, it's so good to see you on here. Okay, I'm scrolling down so I can see everyone. Marion, hello, Mary. Peggy, hello, Terry. Good to see all of you. Karen from Colorado, hello. Rosalie, Shirley from Arizona. Linda, from Florida. Oh my goodness, but it's hot there. Hot, hot, hot. You know what? We've got some cool weather today. It's cooled down a little bit in Oregon. So it's a little overcast, but no rain. So it's kind of nice to have some cool weather. Ellen, she has not been here before. Hi, Ellen, welcome. You are part of the best group. This group of people are just the most encouraging and kindest people on the planet. So you know what? Just keep commenting and saying hi. People will say hi back to you. Karen is on. Can't wait to see what you have today. Melody from Elk Grove. Hello. Bright and breezy Felix. Is it Felix? Hi all the AI friends and crew. Hello to you. Let me see who else. Siska, Rain, Patsy, you guys, this is so great. Hello to all of you. Welcome to my office with me. Welcome to the studio. We're going to do some watercoloring. And you guys, as always, this project is super simple. So if you're a beginner, don't worry about that because you're going to be able to do this project. And when we break it down little piece by piece and just go over the rules, you will be shocked at what an amazing artist that you can become. You really will. Isn't that true, you guys who have been doing this for a long time? I see your work and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, Barbara from Michigan, hello. Yes, Elaine, please heal quickly. Right. Ellen is from Iceland. Oh my goodness, hello. What time is it in Iceland? Wow, welcome, Ellen. Good to have you with us. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Renee. I love the squirrels and acorns. Yes, Renee lives kind of out in the country. How many acres do you guys have, Renee? She lives kind of out in the country, trees all around. Beautiful in New York. Just beautiful. They have deer. I think, have you had bear come to your house? I feel like I've seen a picture of that on your Facebook page. So she has probably lots of squirrels. Georgia, hello. Sandy, way too hot here in Florida. And hot and humid. Hot and humid, I bet. Okay, you guys, are you ready to get to our project? I'm going to flip my camera around and then I will, we'll get started on the project. Okay, everybody ready? Oh, Renee says, yes, bear, 4 acres. Oh, wow. Jeanette has all the land. Jeanette, how much land do you have? Now we're going to need to know that. Wow, 4 acres. And okay, what kind of bear? Was it a black bear? I'm guessing. Crazy. Good afternoon from Michigan. Mary, hello, welcome. Jane is on. Hello, Jane. Jamie, hello. So good to have you guys on here with me. Just the best. Okay, Jeanette, I need to know how many acres. Oh, 38 and a half. Oh my goodness. Wow, you probably have some wildlife in there too. That's awesome. So what do you do? Do you farm that? Is it, out kind of in the wilderness? What do you have on your 38 and a half acres? Karen Day, hello from Canada. Talented Karen. She is has such a beautiful style. Barbara is on. Welcome, you guys. Madge, hello. Madge from Florida also. Wow, Andrea. Hello, Andrea from New Mexico. Good to have you on. Good to have you guys on with me. Thank you so much for joining me. This is such a fun day for me. Like I said, the throwbacks are a fun day because I started this in 1987. And I think I was about 30. So yeah, I was 30 years old. And I still feel like I'm 30 years old until I look in the mirror. But there's something about that. So there's something about our internal age that we just feel the same. I mean, we get to a certain age, about 30, between 30 and 35, and then we never really feel any older than that inside. I mean, other than like our stiffness and aches and pains and can't remember things and can't see, but we still feel like that young person. And so I still feel that age, when I kind of started this business and we were working together, Phil and I, we, did so much of this together. And we had our, vulcanizer in the house. Just so many memories. And I used to work at the kitchen table a lot, and I worked up in my bedroom a lot. And I still feel that. I can still go back to that place. And so when I look at all these old catalogs, and this catalog from 1987, I think this catalog took me a year and a half to put together. Because it all had to be, hand drawn. I didn't have a computer, and I just did a lot of like gluing and pasting and putting it together. I think it was about a year and a half that it took me. So I remember laboring over all of these images that are in these catalogs, and I can put myself back, and I know what the trends were kind of at that time, what the style was way back in the 80s. And so it's really fun to go back, and then now my style has changed so much. And I look at these things and go, oh, wow, that needs to be redone. So that's why I say they're inspired now, is because I can take those images and then just kind of rework them and tweak them. Ellen says, I know that feeling young in my mind, but the body. Yes, okay, is that a thing, you guys? Because I feel like that, and I've talked to other people that kind of feel that way too. So if you weren't looking in a mirror and you were just, looking outside or just being in your life, do you feel like you're the same at age 35? I mean, I'm just shocked that I'm 67. I'm shocked by that. And sometimes, like I said, until you look in the mirror and then, it's like, oh my gosh, where did this old person come from? With all these wrinkles and everything. Mary says same. Yes, you guys. My brain thinks I'm young. My body says, what are you thinking? Yes, exactly, Sharon. That is exactly right. Okay, Madge, hopefully you'll do a throwback on Madge. Madge, just for you. Absolutely. Um, okay, so Marianne, question I'm dying to know the answer to. How did you discover this technique of watercolor? Okay, so I think I've told this story before, so forgive me if you've heard it before, but it was a total accident. It was an absolute complete accident, but I feel like it was a divine accident. And one time I was up in my office and I was in my bedroom office and I had bought some watercolor pencils and I was trying to figure out how to use them. And I had some watercolor paper and I had some cardstock and I had done this scenery. So if you've looked at any of the old catalogs, I had some flowers and foliage, but at the time it was just stamping on cardstock and kind of stamping over the top. You didn't use any water on it. You just kind of stamped, all over it. I don't know. Tell me if you guys remember Dee Grunig. Do you remember Dee Grunig and the big Marvy brush markers and her big bold stamping things on top of each other? It was sort of along those lines. And I had flowers and foliage, but it was a different way of stamping. It was all done on cardstock with bright colors, no water, no brush. And I was trying to figure out how to use these watercolor pencils that I had. And so I tried coloring it on the cardstock and then adding some water with my brush and didn't really like that. And then I tried adding my wet brush to my colored pencil and brushing that on. And I didn't like that either, really. And so I kind of thought, well, maybe I'll try watercolor paper. And it was just a series of things that I tried. And I picked up a stamp, the most random stamp probably in my collection. Not a flower, not a character, but a pile of rocks. Just a random pile of rocks. And I picked that stamp up and I grabbed a pen out of my stack of pens. And it turned out to be a sepia color, which if you're a painter, you know that sepia is a hugely important in outdoor things, rocks, dirt, trees. It's that earthy color. It's the earthy color that we mix by mixing these two colors together, that blue and the brown. It's got a bit of a green tone to it. It looks like earth. Rocks, things that are in earthy things, tree trunks, stuff like that kind of grounds it and makes it look like a thing. And I grabbed this sepia pen from Marvy and I grabbed this pile of rocks and I stamped it instead of on the cardstock. I stamped it accidentally on the watercolor paper and I grabbed my brush and I pulled the color out of the lines and I just couldn't, it was just the biggest aha moment because it was the sepia pen that you would use with a rock and it was the watercolor that pulled it from the lines. So it was just a wet brush because I've been using a brush on my watercolor pencils, and so I had a brush and it was kind of wet and I just tried to color it in and the color ran out of the lines and I got the most beautiful image of rocks. And I just couldn't believe it. I was just absolutely shocked. And it was such an aha moment. And I sort of, it took a long time to kind of develop it. And, this has been years and years, decades ago that I happened on this. And I feel like it is one of those things that was a divine inspiration. I just feel like God had his hand on that because I have used it so much. And it has just blessed so many people. Something about this art form because it's easy to use for anyone. If you think that you're a left brain person or a right brain person, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can do this because it's stamping and pulling the color out of the lines. And it's for everyone. And I just feel like, it has just blessed so many people, especially, in the last 10 years. But I've just kind of developed it over the years, tried to make it simpler and simpler. And then, I started teaching it quite a bit about, 12, 13, 15 years ago. And then I really honed in on it to how to make it with a few simple rules so that we don't have to go into elaborate detail about, where the light is coming from and, the dimensions of everything and the foreground and the background and all of that. We don't have to really deal with any of that. We can make it really simple and put out really beautiful art without doing any of those things, with just a few rules. The rules about, how to put in a few little highlights and shadows. Those are things that you can easily learn. It's kind of like learning, math. If you're not math, inclined like me, I can learn how to do simple math if I'm taught the right way. It's the same thing with art. If you're taught, so that you can understand it, you will be so successful. You can absolutely do it. So this has been, I should have written the date down of that because I still remember it. I remember what I had on. I remember what I was working on. I remember where I was, what desk I was at. And I just remember everything because it was such just a huge moment for me. And I just thought, this is the biggest thing I've ever seen. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it really has been. It really, really has been, because I have seen literally hundreds, thousands of people who can now paint and can create watercolor paintings that would never have thought that they could do it before, because of this simple little technique, this simple little accident that's really not an accident. So anyway, that became a long story. But if you hadn't heard that story before, I'm happy to tell it. And those of you who have heard it, you've probably heard it before. But it is it's such a cool story. It's one of those times in my life that has a big marker, because it was a transitory or transitionary pivotal point in my life. And I've done lots and lots of art over the years. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even count the thousands of images that I've created in the last, 37 years. But that is the one that I remember the most, is that watercolor day. So Kathy says, I'm walking in the truth of that. Absolutely. All of you on the AI Way, all of you who have formed these groups, the Art Impressions stamp group, all of you who are in these private groups that watercolor together and do art together. It's such a blessing. It's so humbling. It's such a blessing. And I can just see it over the years. And a lot of times at the time, when I had this kind of aha moment, I thought it was the coolest thing, but I had no idea at that time what it would become. No idea. And I just felt that it was such a big thing. And we just, we never know how God is going to work and what he's going to do with a little thing that we have. It could be such a little thing. And he uses it. So you guys, I feel like it has blessed a lot of people. I hope it's blessed you too. And we're going to do some watercolor today. Okay. So you guys, I'm going to switch my camera around now and show you the throwback. So this is it. So here's the original catalog. This is that catalog, you guys. It took me literally a year and a half to do. And I can see all of my pencil lines and all of my strokes in here. All of these little borders, had to be just glued in. Everything was just, hand done, way back then. Look at my illustrations here, my camera work, you guys. I mean, just so many things. Just the whole style of it has changed so much. But it's as fun now as it was back then, and funner, even funner. So I had this little country bench because country was big then. That whole country style of the dusty rose and the country blue, that was absolutely everywhere. And so country was a big thing. Recognize these shelves, you guys? I mean, I had one of these. So I had this bench, and this was the throwback from May. So here's that bench that I did from May, and it had these little things that you could put on the bench, and then you just kind of fill it in, sort of like a foundation. Andrea, you have a 97 catalog. No way. Oh, wow, you guys. Georgia, you have one too? Ginger? Oh my goodness, you guys. Wow, thanks for being with us all these years. Wow, you guys, you don't know what that means. Thank you so much. And those of you who have been with us and don't have the catalog, thank you also. That is just awesome. So anyway, I did this little bench, and then I changed it because you can see all the lines in here. Now with the technique that we have, this would be too much color. So the lines are really important because that determines how much color is coming out of those lines. And if you have a lot of hash marks like this, that's a lot of color. It's a lot of color. So it becomes kind of muddy when you try to, pull this color out. So I took these lines out, I changed the style of it a little bit, and then I added these little things that can go onto the bench. So I sort of followed that same, you guys loved this so much. And then I think I showed you did I show you a Christmas version, you guys? The memory is, I think I showed you a Christmas version of this one. So there's so many things that you can do, but it would be kind of hard to do a fall version of that. So I did a fall bench just because it really was so much fun. And I added these little squirrels. I put these little squirrels. So here's the actual package so that you can see. Let me zoom in on this so that you can see it up close. Whoops. And you can see these things that come with it. So this little scrub brush right here comes with it. This little basket with the acorns comes with it. And they are, of course, giant compared to the squirrel because it's just so cute to make them big. So they can be like, how in the world am I going to get that into my tree? So I did that on purpose, just because I thought that would just be so cute to make these little tiny squirrels with these big acorns. And then I have the little pumpkins up here. So you can add a stack of pumpkins and just really make this up maybe for Halloween and make little jack-o'-lanterns on all of these. That would be really cute. And of course the little basket that you can put up here, which would be really cute. So that comes with this set. And then as a free gift, you get the little owl. So if you were going to make this a Halloween version, you could put the little owl up here instead of one of these little squirrels, which would be really cute. You can interchange that anyway. You could set him on the bench. So he's sized to go with this little guy. He's pretty small and he's sized to go on the bench. Ginger, I'm looking at all you people who say that you have the cattle. That's crazy. That is crazy, you guys. That's awesome. And okay, so here's the little throwback that is going to be available now this month is this little fox. And I don't remember when he came out. This was a promotional stamp. So we bring these back one a month. These are little promotional stamps that have never been for sale. And they were given as gifts with a purchase order of about $30. I think it's been $30 across the board. So when you put in an order of that size, you get a little free gift. And this was one of those. And they're available for a period of time, and then they're gone. So he's been gone for quite a while. And so we brought him back just for the time period of the throwback. So so today's Tuesday, Wednesday through Thursday at midnight. Will be the last chance to get this little guy, and he is available on the website right now. This little owl, this is free with your set. So you don't have to specifically order this. This is going to come free with the fall bench set. So this throwback that's good only until Thursday at midnight. And then this will go away and be gone. Leah, is the fox clear or rubber? You know what? I'm not sure. Leah, if you're on, will you answer that? Good question. Okay, so let's keep going here. These are available, like I said, through Thursday at midnight. You'll be able to get those. And I'll show them again when I get off, when I come back on. So I'll show that again for those of you who may be hopping on late. In addition, we only need 3 stamps to do this project. So it's sort of like the foundations where everything is kind of on here, and then you just add in, the flowers. So I put in these little mums because they're so cute for fall, and you can make them any colors, yellows, oranges, whatever color you want to make them. So we're going to add those, and literally that is 1 stamp. It's this right here, this little tiny stamp from the mini flower set. So we're going to use that to create all of these florals. The little branch, we're going to use this one. And then the little tiny vine. So either one, whichever one is easier for you to manage. Sometimes, they're easier going to the right, sometimes to the left. So that's totally up to you. One of these 2 little branches we're going to use to add the leaves onto these branches here. And that's it. That's it, you guys. We only need 3 stamps. And they're little stamps. So just these 3. And we're going to do our project. So I added, so this comes with, so in here, this comes separate and this comes separate, and this. So you can add either one of these in. So I went ahead and pre-stamped this and added the little basket into the bench. And it's sort of like the other one. The only thing that you have to do is, so this line here on the original image comes clear across like this. So if you're going to put something on the bench, just don't stamp this little area here, or just rub it off with your thumb, because then you don't have to deal with that line there. And so that's the only thing that I had to take off. This will fit just exactly perfectly into this little section on the bench. So let me zoom in again now. So this will fit in here, as will the pumpkins. The stack of pumpkins will fit in here too. Okay, so let's get a palette in here and let's get started doing this. Anybody have any questions? Let's see. Okay, you guys, it looks like we're ready to go. All right, so I'm going to take my brush and water, and let me just show you where the water is. So the water is here, it's off screen, but the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our brush really wet like this. Just tap it off, and then just starting with the middle part all the way up, you're going to just pull that off until your brush is flat. See how flat that is? So we're going to pull that water off, and then I'm just going to move this aside. And now when I dip the brush back into the water and pinch it off, I'm only dipping the tip. See where the color is? I'm only dipping to there. When I dip into the water and take it out, and now I'm just pulling it off like this. Never bring your brush back into the middle part again. So it's only going to be in this on this little tip. And then we're just going to start out by dragging some of this color out of the lines. And we don't have to do a lot really. This is always just kind of the first step of just pulling some of this out, because we're going to add color to all of these things. And especially like these little acorns, you know, we're going to add lots of color to these things. The little wash tub down here, the pumpkins. So I should tell you also, I stamped this in 2 colors. So the first color is the 969, and then the 565, but we're going to do it in this order. So the blue first, 565, and then right over the top, don't stamp it off, right over the top, you're going to color it again with the 969, and then you're going to stamp it off one time. You're going to just stamp it off, and then you're going to stamp it onto your canvas. So we've got this little lantern here that we're going to do. The little legs of the bench. This is a very simple design. I simplified this quite a bit just because it's, you know, the focus is on all the little elements that are in it. So we can make this bench kind of simple. And, you know, keep in mind that these little squirrels are part of the bench, but you can use these separately. So, you know, when you go to ink this big image, just ink this little section and stamp it. You know, these are clear. So these images are, no, they aren't. They're rubber. Are they rubber, Leah? Yes, they are. They're rubber. So you're going to need to use your stamp positioner or your stamp platform so that you can position it. But you can also do that with the little squirrel and keep these separate and use them individually. Okay. So you can see I'm just pulling a little bit of this color out. We're gonna add some more color to it. And then, you know, anything that's rounded is going to be darker on the sides. Little candle. So that's really about all we have to do. And you can see that it's looking a lot more three-dimensional now just by doing those little things, you know, pulling that color out, darkening, you know, making it darker where it would be darker. See these leaves back here, or these legs back here? Those are going to be darker because that's going to set it kind of back in the distance. All right, so now we can start adding some color onto our little pots, our basket. So let's get some color onto our palette. And this is the 925. Let's see, might have to zoom out just a little bit so I can see the colors on here. So this is a really, really bright orange. This is a 925. And then we're going to use this orange. This is the 933. You can see this has a lot more yellow in it. This has a lot more red. So this is the 933. And it actually, it kind of shows gold on the screen, but it's pretty orange. It's a really, really pretty orange. So then we're going to use the 526 blue. 526 blue. We're going to need, let's see, we're going to need some, let's see, what other colors? Oh, some brown. And this is a 947. 947. Joel, will you grab me a number 177 green? Somehow I'm missing the green in my stack.
177.
Yeah. And then let's see, are we going to need any blue? I don't think we need any blue. Yeah, we do need, no, we got this blue. Oh, we need some of this blue. So this is a shadow color. This is the 565. Did I get all those colors on here? Yes, that's it. And then the 177, how did he find this pen? This has been well used. Okay, so, all right, so let's get some color onto these little pots. So I'm going to dip my brush, and let's just start over on the side and kind of work our way over. So we're going to take some of this light blue, and we're just going to color this little candle. Maybe just leave a bit of a highlight on it, like so. And then let's just continue on with the blue here, since we're in it. And let's do this little pumpkin. It's really, you know, my natural inclination is always to make all the pumpkins orange, but they're really neat to do in different colors. You know, leave some white, do some blue ones, and it just really adds a lot of color to your kind of your composition. So we're going to leave a little highlight here. So a little highlight from the top, and then a little highlight because it's rounded and it's kind of tipped a little bit. So this area kind of in here is going to be the darkest area. And so if this is the darkest, this is the lightest up here. And then let's get some color on this little pot here. It's kind of hidden in the background, so we don't have to worry too much about the shadow on here or the highlight on here. And you can, you know, of course, this is all subjective. You can make your little, you know, pots and whatever. You can make these whatever color that you want them to be. So I love the orange and this blue together. I just think this is such a beautiful combination. This bright blue and that orange, so pretty. So let's do a little terracotta pot up here. So with the orange, and we're going to see just a little bit of a highlight kind of in the middle, kind of as we come down here. And it's, you know, it's pretty light when you put that first layer of color on it. It's pretty light, but when you go over it again, you know, however many passes that you make on it, it's going to get darker and darker. And then let's add a little bit of this other orange in here, just to kind of mix up the color a little bit. And especially kind of underneath here. It's always, you know, because this part of the pot hangs over, so we're going to see that darker underneath. This underneath the line is going to, if you make that dark, this section is going to come forward. So now might as well just finish our little pumpkins here. Let's just do these guys. Same thing with the highlight. It's kind of on the top, but it's in the middle also because it's rounded. it's not as important, how big the highlight is as it is that it's there. You just want to make sure when you've got something that's a contour like this, that's rounded, that you have that highlight, because that's what makes it look round. If this were all colored the same, the same color, the same darkness, it's going to look flat. But the second you put that little white highlight in, it becomes round. And then, underneath, and you can mix your colors too. So take some of this color and just mix it up and put it under here, because you don't want all of the same color on anything. You wouldn't just color the pumpkin just the same orange. It's just going to look much more natural to do it this way. Okay, so now let's take some of the brown, this light brown, and let's add some to this little basket here. And we're going to keep this basket pretty light, this little wood basket. And then we're going to come in with some of the details in here too. So let's do our little acorns, and you can see these are also rounded. So we got to see that little highlight in here. Do each one separate, just like we did the pumpkins. All of these little acorns separate. So you never want to just color in this whole section, even though these acorns are all sitting next to each other and they're all the same color. You never want to cross any of these lines. So you just want to go into each one and do each one separate with their own little highlight. Even if it's tiny. Now see, this one's kind of laying on its side up here. So, if the light's coming straight down, the highlight is either in the center or the top. So if the acorn were standing straight up and down, the highlight would be in the center of it, like this one. See, this one's kind of straight up and down. The highlight's in the center. When it's laying on its side like this, the highlight's at the top, because the darker area now is on the bottom. So we can make this area down here pretty dark. And anything that kind of goes back into the distance back here is going to be pretty dark. Okay, so let's add a little more brown on here. So this is the 969. So let's just add some of this. And we're just going to add a little bit of this blue to it and just kind of gray it up a little bit. So it just kind of changes the color of that brown. You see the difference in that? This is a little grayer. And it's just to kind of change the color up a little bit so it doesn't look all the same. And then we can add some of this, we're going to use our twin tone too and get back in here. But just take your time with these little things. They're so tiny, but it really makes a difference to do all these little things. Okay, so now I'm going to just take a little bit of this, kind of this light brown, and I'm going to just kind of muddy up this little basket, because we don't want it to be too white. We'll just put a little shadow underneath there. You see how that brings this little band forward, just by putting that little shadow there. We can put a little bit here too. And then on here, let's just put a little shadow on here. Round that up. And a little bit of a shadow there. Okay, let's go on to this little pot here, and we're going to just add some random colors onto it, because it's kind of it looks like an old wash tub, and so we're just going to kind of mix some colors, and we're just going to brush this on. And sometimes you just come up with the best combinations just by taking colors off of your palette and just mixing them up. And it looks kind of well used and just kind of old and rustic. And this part of the handle back in there, you can see that It would be really dark back in there. All of these little stems now. And the blue just grays up that brown. It just grays it up. It makes it just a different, a cooler color. So don't be afraid to, mix your colors on your palette. And then you also get a variation of color, when you're doing that. Everything doesn't look the same. Okay, so now I'm going to take my my twin tone, move this aside just for a minute, and I'm going to darken some of these areas. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see why this kind of makes a difference. So the tops of these little acorns, they've got a kind of a rough edge to them. So we're just going to come in here and just make a little rough edge onto the top of these acorns. Don't overthink it, you guys. Just a little area where it just looks like it's got texture. And then these little, tops, little stems that are on the top, we can really darken those. And then, underneath these little caps, we can just make that just a little bit darker under there. And you can see how important it is to keep those little white areas, and not just, really try hard not to color everything in solid. It's so hard to do that. But if you can just keep yourself from coloring it in solid, you'll be so much happier with how it looks. And then this area kind of here where the basket, it looks like the boards are kind of pulling apart. If you just darken that, that will give you more of that kind of rustic look. And then the dark just really makes it look three-dimensional. It really just adds that depth to it. And we're going to add some of it now to these little stems because these kind of need to be dark too. And we're just putting in texture lines, so straight lines. So we're just kind of going down. So just down like this. And down like this. And this little handle here, where it kind of comes around the back, that's going to be really, really dark. You see how that just changes the look of that. And we can just add a little bit of color to this little post. Okay. We're getting there, you guys. See how simple this is? It's so simple if you just pay attention to those tiny little things, those just tiny little rules. Okay, let's put a little orange flame in our candle here. And then I want this to look, like it's glass. So I'm just gonna put a little blue line just right on the inside. And here's the trick. If you want it to look like it's glass, you need to put in this little bottom section. See how that changed everything? Just this tiny little bottom section. Like a little oval at the bottom. And then let's add a little color to the jar, the lid. And let's go on to our little squirrels and then we'll put in our florals. And you know what? We're gonna be almost finished, you guys, with this. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of this and I want to kind of gray up these squirrels a little bit. So you can, when it comes to browns, you can mix your warm, this is a very warm brown. This is a warm brown and so is this. This one has a lot of red in it. So if we turn this over, let me just show you the difference in these colors. So this is a warm color. It has more yellow in it. This one, you can see, looks like it has more green, doesn't it? And then adding the blue to it, kind of in between, will actually change up these colors. So you see how that will just kind of gray that up? And this one too. So you can change your grays. You know, you've got this whole, you've got this whole area that you can create of browns, is basically what I'm saying. So put your, colors next to each other like this and just kind of let them mix up a little bit. Mix them up on your palette. So I'm just mixing the blue in here with this brown. And then I'm just going to brush it on. And leave a highlight on the tail at the top. And always, if you feel like you got too much color, pinch your brush off. I do this all the time. I'm always doing this. And again, each section. See the top of his little thigh here? Leave that little highlight. His little belly, just leave that light. The top of his back, see he's kind of bent over. Just leave this lighter. And as he's bent over, it's just a little bit darker down here where his little feet are and underneath his tail. Got his little ears. And then you want to keep his face. I'm going to just switch over my brushes here. So I'm going to switch over to a small one once we get into the face. So in the face, you want to keep this really, really light. Bring the cheek in. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little closer. Okay, so bring the cheek in. This will bring that little cheek forward, and just try to keep the area, this area here really, really light. You can add a tiny bit of color to it, but just keep it really, really light. And then add just a little bit of red in here to his cheek. And then you can just kind of blend that out a little bit. And then come back in with some of this darker brown underneath here. And just kind of work your way up a little bit. See, under his little front arm here, that's going to be a little bit darker. And let me just move this up so you can see what brown I'm pulling out here. And they don't, you don't have to color it in solid. You really don't want to do that. You don't want to color it in solid. And if you can get, some different variations of color, that all the better. And just, stay in each section. It's the other rule. Okay, and then let's come in with his little eye. And isn't he just so cute? And his little feet. Anywhere that you think you might have lost a line or something, you can add in. But really, he doesn't need to have too many lines added in. Okay, let's go over to the other one. And we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna drag some of this color from the blue and the brown, just kind of mix these two together and get this little gray tone. Get that highlight in there, so important. And stay in each section. Take some of this brown. And leave this area, his little belly right here, leave that light. And again, bring that cheek in, bring his little cheek in, but keep this area where his face is. Keep that really light. And then let's get this underneath here. We'll get this a little darker down here. And if he's got multiple colors on him, that's a good thing. It's just going to make him look a little more realistic. And let's get his little cheek in. And his little eye. Okay, let's zoom out now. Maybe not that far. Okay, so now we've got those guys in. Now let's get our florals in. So we're going to use this little flower, this little mum, and we're going to start out with the blue. So the 565, and we're just going to put a little piece of Post-it tape across the top because we don't want to stamp over the top, and leave just a tiny little bit so that you can see that pot under there. Oh, Lori. Okay, she's talking about her order. The bench is included. Yay. Okay. Got it, Lori. Glad. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's get the blue in here. So we're gonna do the florals in the blue, and just run your brush right along the top, and then the green is underneath in where the stems are, and then you're just gonna stamp it in here, a few times, and then do it again. So ink it again, and then that blue right across the top. And you can go back into it again and get these a little bit higher if you want to. And then we're just adding some water to it. So pinch your brush off, and then you're just dabbing. Just dab and let it just do its thing. Just touch it. No brush strokes. Don't try to brush like this. And then just brush the little grasses, little stems straight down. Okay, and then let's do this little one. And so this one is the red. So let's cover this one up like this. And actually we should probably, let's see, maybe we should put a little bit over here as well so we don't stamp over the top of that pot. And then I'm just going to use a baby wipe and clean this off so that I can get the red. I can use the red. So make sure you get that all off, get all that color off so that you get a really good bright red. So same thing again. And then we're just going to add this one in. Just touch it with the brush. And I just got a little bit of this green in here, so I'm just going to add a little bit from my palette. This is the 177. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this into my pot since I didn't get that stamped in here very well. You can also just use your bullet tip too. Okay, so let's do this one down here, and we're going to do this one on the red also. So let's cover it. Well, actually, maybe this way. No, let's do this. Let's use this one. And just kind of cover that up. And then we're going to ink this again with the red and the green. And you can use whichever green you want. And just stamp it about 3 times and then re-ink it again. Take those out. Aren't those just so cute? And if you want to make it taller, just ink the florals and just go up and above here like this. This is just the best little stamp. It's just so easy to use. You can just use it in so many different ways. It just kind of fits anywhere. So then we're just touching it, just let it just kind of blend out. Don't leave those white spaces. So I want to see those individual florals. So don't color it all in solid. And then this just up and down with your brush, just straight lines up and down. And let that kind of blend together like that. And if you want to make something decorative on here, you can. You know, I usually have some kind of stripe on something. So let's, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just put a stripe on here because I feel like we need one. Okay, I just think that adds a ton. All right, so now let's see, what do we need to do? Let's add some of the shadows now, kind of on this bench, because where all these things are sitting, this is gonna kind of be in the shadow, the seat of the bench. And then, you know, in here, we can make these a little bit darker. The sides of the handles, like right here. So it's going to be in the shadows. This will too. Under here and the back of this leg. That's going to be in the shadows. Same back here. And this little portion. See how that brings that back? See how that brings this back into the background here? Let's just add a little more blue onto this basket. And let's put a little shadow underneath there. So that it's just amazing what a little blue line can do. It really is. Okay. Let's just put a little shadow in here. Okay, and then let's just do a little sort of a hint of a shadow underneath this bench. And you don't have to, you know, really do too much. You're just going to put a few little lines here in here like this. Just a few little lines, just like a, you know, just a little idea of a shadow in there. Okay, so now let's see. Now we want to put in our little branches. You can use whatever branches that you want to use. So let's make sure that dries a little bit. And actually, I'm going to just put a piece of Post-it tape here, and then we'll do this little one that goes up above. So I'm just going to ink this in that dark brown, the 969. And I'm just going to put this in here, just kind of like this. A couple of little branches in there. And then let's just put some in here. Is that dry? Yep. And then let's put a couple in here. Okay, and now with the leaves, you can make these whatever color you want to make them. So let me move this out of the way. So for fall, you know, you can do the orange. I did orange and red on mine. So let's start out with the orange, and we're just using the very tip. So just these few stamps that are kind of on the tip, and we're just adding them a little bit here and there. So just a couple of times on here. And the same with these. Maybe we just put a couple in here. Okay, just like that. And then clean it off, you know, on your baby wipe. And then grab your red. So this red is the 856, a little deeper red. And do the same thing. And just get some red in here. Just, you know, wherever you feel kind of led to put it. And let's just put a couple down here. And then we're just going to get a brush. You guys be sure to put, Lisa, good job. Put on here if you would like to win this one. So I'll be giving it away. Jeanette, you have not won before? Oh my goodness. It's time. Jeanette, I feel like it's going to be your lucky day. You guys be sure to put in the comments if you would like to win some, to be giving it away. So put in the comments if you would like to win it. Leah picks our winners, and so she just might pick your name. Okay, so I'm doing the, you know, the dark colors first, and then I'm just kind of cleaning my brush off and then doing the light ones. And just touch it because we kind of want to see the definition of those leaves and the colors that they are. And then if you want to, you could add a little sky in the background, just a little hint, you know, of color back behind here. You know, and back maybe a little bit under here. You know, you don't have to color every single area, you know, with the sky color. You just put in a little bit of it here and there, and it's good. And let's just add a little of this color to the bench. Again, we like to use like multiple colors. Let's add a little red to these pumpkins too. Just taking a little bit of this red from my palette. Okay, so now if you want to, you can add some white paint to it, which, you know me and the white paint, I just love finding a place for it. Ooh, let's make this a little darker here. Make that stripe a little darker. Let's add some white paint. I just feel like we need to find a place for it. So we could add some to our florals up there. So I'm just going to dip my brush. You know, by the time I use it, you know, it's pretty thick in here. It might be a little dried out. So I just dip my brush in water, and then I just kind of mix it around until I get it, you know, thinned out a little bit. Just kind of mix it up like this. This is the easiest way that I've found to apply it. You know, you can also take it out and put it on a palette and mix a little water to it. You can do that too. So I'm just going to add now some little white. Little white flowers in here. And I just think we need some in here also. Like some little white mums in here. They're so cute. And maybe just some little white, I don't know, are there white berries? There are in this painting. So we're adding a few little things back here. You can, you know, add another little highlight to your acorns, to your pumpkins, to your little basket. You know, there's just, add it to our little floral. And just how cute is this, you guys? Dominique, those are my colors. I know, aren't they so beautiful? Something about this blue and orange together. I just absolutely love it. I come back to it all the time. And I try using more of the traditional colors, but I always find a way to add the blue to it. It's so pretty with that orange. And then add the red in, you know, as kind of an accent. It's so beautiful. It's such a pretty combination. Okay, I need to sign it because, you know, we always sign our work. Okay, let's see. Is there anywhere else that we need to add? Anything? I always just find somewhere to add some dark lines before I'm finished. I just always do. Get our little squirrels on here. They're so cute. Okay, I think, you guys, I think we're finished. What do you think? That was so fun to do. Okay, I'm going to switch back over so that I can do a little recap for you. But let me show you that set while I'm under the camera. So here is the throwback set, and it comes, this is one piece here with the squirrels are on the bench, comes with the little pots and the pumpkins on it. So it's a fall set because it's got the pumpkins there too. You could, however, leave them off if you wanted to. You could leave all of these things off and do something different with it. This is separate and this is separate so that you can add them to the bench, you know, either one. This is the one we added to the bench. Comes with these little scrappy branches. So cute. And then as our gift, as a thank you for buying that throwback, you get the little owl free. And he is perfectly sized to fit on the bench. So if you decide to use him, just leave one of the squirrels off when you're inking it and add the little owl on here. It'll be so cute. And then available just till Thursday at midnight, this promo fox, we're bringing him back. So he's coming back one more time and then he'll be gone. So this was one back from, when is it? 2019. So he was a little gift with a purchase. So none of these little throwbacks have ever been for sale. We've always given them as gift. So he's available now on our website, and you can get him till Thursday. Okay, so let me switch back to all of you so that I can say goodbye. Okay, you guys, I just love this project. I hope that you guys will give it a shot. Okay, I want to say one thing about the throwback. So normally when we release the throwback, they're available to ship that day or the day after. We have run into some shipping issues, so they are delayed a bit. So they will go out probably the first part of next week. So don't panic if you don't have your throwback in the next couple of days, because Leah normally is on it and everything is shipped out so fast. So if you're wondering why your throwback hasn't come in the next day or two, it's because we cannot ship them until we get them in. So we've just run into a little bit of snag. They are on their way and they will get to us, but it will be the first part of next week before they're shipped. So you guys will get your throwback. Thank you so much. This was a really fun one. I hope you guys will give it a try. Quantities are always limited on these, so if you absolutely must have it, I would get your order in as soon as possible. And you have till Thursday at midnight. So you guys, I will see you tomorrow. I'll be back on for Watercolor Wednesday, and I'll have a really fun project for you. So I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific time. See you then. Thanks again.